Today I'm going to be showing you the Stagetop themed table part 2. But before we get into today's video, I just want to share with you what the GGGGs are for this month. Each month, Bob the Beholder picks some of my Patreon supporters to receive gratitude gifts. And for this month of February of 2024, we have this Algo Laser 22-watt diode. We have 10 pledges for the Napoleonic Farm for 6 to 15 millimeter war games. We have $100 going towards a crowdfunder campaign, which my Patreon supporters are currently voting upon. And there is an all-in pledge for this crowdfunder that's happening on MyMiniFactory right now. If you want to get in on that, go ahead and use the link below to go to my Patreon page where you can find out more information for how you can get a chance to be chosen by Bob for one of these gratitude gifts. I apologize for my voice. I have a cold that I've been fighting for a week now. But Gutshot Games reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do a review. I said sure, but please send me this printed set so that I wouldn't have to print out all of these files in order to create a sample for you. And they were kind enough to do that. The theme that I picked out was the Cthulhu theme, as you can see here, and I think it turned out really awesome. So thanks so much to Gutshot Gaming for sending this to me. And after receiving it, I was able to assemble it relatively easily, and they have a whole video showing you how all of these pieces connect together. And I am really impressed at how well machined these parts are. They're actually not machined, they're 3D printed, but they all fit really nicely. And I was a little bit worried about that, but it is really tight and really fits together and works as a whole system, as it was meant to be broken down and placed into a calyx storage unit and take up very little space. Also, I like the fact that they are basically based off of 8-inch tiles so that you can print them out. I was able to print out one of the tiles on my smaller Anchor Make M5C, which isn't even the size of your standard Ender 3 or your Prusa MK3 or 4, which those are plenty big enough to be able to print out all of the pieces. So I appreciate the fact that you're able to print this out, but you need at least a 210 by 210 by 210 print space. But this is the second of their campaigns. The original was a Kickstarter that was very successful. They raised over $300,000. So I think this is also going to be a great follow-up because they really went heavy in on the 3 different themes that they are offering during this campaign. So you do need the original set, and that is on sale. And in a little bit, we're going to go ahead and go to the computer where I'm going to walk you through the campaign and look at all the options. But for those of you who did go in on that original, you can go in at the lowest tier to grab the 3 different themes that is new to this campaign. And once again, in MyMiniFactory Frontiers, as soon as you pay, you receive the rewards. You're not waiting for the rewards to be released later on, except for maybe some of the stretch goals. So that's one of the good things about it being a campaign that is in Frontiers. In the original campaign, they did have 3 different themes where it was sort of generic, almost like a dungeon or castle set, and a couple others. But with these, it is significantly more themed than in those original ones. As you can see here, check out this border, check out these dice towers, this centerpiece here, even this little bowl that you can hold dice in. All of these things just add to what I think was their base product the first time around and made it even better. So if you don't like the Cthulhu theme, definitely check out the Railroad as well as the Forest theme. I think they turn out really well. And in fact, when I look at the amount of detail on this border, I am amazed. I think that they probably printed this at more like 0.1 or 0.15 millimeter height, where I typically print everything at 0.2 millimeter height. I think they went higher detail, and the amount of detail, especially if you take a look at this dice tower, is incredible. So you can achieve almost resin quality prints, which is amazing with our current 3D printers today, especially like the Bamboo machines and many others. Just have up the quality and the speed that it takes to print these things out. Now on their website, it does show that you will need about 5 rolls of filament to print out a little larger version of this. This is the mini version, which is 3 by 3 in terms of those 8-inch squares. So this play area is about 2 feet by 2 feet. But of course, you can make it however big or however small as you want, as long as it's within those 8-inch increments. Also, once it's put together, it's pretty sturdy, and you're able to put about 40 pounds of weight on here because they do have these supports underneath, which I think is really ingenious. One of the other themes that I saw was really interesting was you could line the edges with LED strip lights, which is super cool as well. So a ton of different options, and I'm not even showing you all the accessories, all of the little bowls to hold your chits, and other things that you can print out for this set. So I think it's a fantastic deal, and the theme that they're coming out with this time around, I think just adds even that much more to creating the immersion with your game experiences. I just have a couple of miniatures from various games, things like that, but I definitely wanted to bring up my Cthulhu from Shadows of Brimstone just to be featured here on this table, which I think is awesome. So let's go ahead and go over to the computer where I can walk you through the campaign. So go ahead and use the link below to go to this page where you're going to see the campaign. It just started today. By the time I post this video, it'll be a couple of days old, so you're going to miss out on the early bird tiers unless you are a Patreon supporter when I post my videos a lot sooner than when I post them publicly. But here we see the 3 different themes, and it's going to go into more detail later on, but here is the one that I picked, which is the Stagetop Madness or Cthulhu themed one. And you can see that they painted theirs, and I think this is all very easily painted. If you look at any of my other tutorial videos about how I show you how to paint STL files, super easy with craft paint, really inexpensive and fast to do. This is the park themed one, and appropriately I think they have Wingspan on top of here, which works out super well. And you can see all of the under supports that are common but just themed. This is the railroad theme one, and this is what the support columns look like for that. This is the Cthulhu. Here are the support columns there. And then the outdoor theme here. You have all the different corners, what they look like. You have the different dice towers. And these are just the holders for the cups. And here are what the tabletop themes look like. This is for the wilderness. This is the Cthulhu themed one. This is the railroad themed one as well. No supports are needed. No tools or hardware. No glue. That is absolutely true. And you can go ahead and click here if you want to look at the original campaign and see what the first wave of tables look like, which is an example right here. I think these little cup holders and chit holders are awesome too. You get that as part of the original package. You have a light version where you can just put on top of maybe a coffee table. Then you have the standard version shown here. And then you have the elite or deluxe version with different types of edging. This is really ingenious where you can stick cards on the edge or you can put in lights. And then here are the original themes from the first Kickstarter. You have a tavern theme. You have a stronghold theme like a dungeon. And then you have this sci-fi version. All of these files are currently available if you want to late back, if you don't want to go through this campaign, but obviously it's cheaper to go through this campaign and purchase those. And this is just to show you how small everything can break down, and intentionally was made to fit into a Calyx storage unit. This is sort of cool. There's a dice tower that goes all the way through. And then you have card rails that you can add. You can put dice on these rails. So there's just so many different ways that you can customize your own table. And the version I have is 24 by 24, which are 9 of these 8-inch squares. But you can make them whatever size that you want. Here it shows you an example if you want to fit an IKEA LAC coffee table. You want 3 across, which will be 24, and then 40 this way, which is 5. So 3 by 5 will be the exact size for this coffee table. But that's just to say that you can customize each one of these prints to fit exactly what you need. Here's a free file if you wanted to try printing it out first, this dice tower. This is also a dice tower from the very first campaign that you can use. And then here are the different tiers. So this is if you already backed the first tier and have the base set and you only want the 3 different themes. You do need to have the Stagetop base set because all of the underlayers and squares are using that system, and the theme is really the top and the sides. So you can get that for $30. And then if you didn't want to get the current new themed ones but wanted the original, which is just the core, that is going to be $50. For $20 extra, you're getting the core set from the first Kickstarter and the 3 new themes. So if you're not interested in picking up the 3 themes from the original set, which was the Tavern, the Stronghold, and the Sci-Fi, if you don't want those ones, you can just pledge in at that $70 level. And then for another $20 on top of that, you're going to get the all-in, which is everything from the first campaign and then these 3 from the current campaign. And then if you want to be able to sell these, it's going to be $230. And here are stretch goals. We have an alternative Madness, which is awesome. The Cthulhu Dice Tower, you have an alternative one. You have an alternative for the park. You have play tiles, that is going to be an alternative that go on top. You have the updated online configurator, which is currently available. And then at 50,000, a 4th table will be unlocked, a 4th theme will be unlocked based off of community choice. And then here are some FAQs in case you have any questions about that. So there you go. Hopefully this video is helpful for you. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe, as I'm going to be coming out with more videos about 3D printed terrain as well as some of the war games that I'm getting into currently. Use the link below as well to go to my Patreon page. Again, if you want to get in on the chance of being chosen by Bob at the end of this month to receive an all-in pledge, that is everything that is currently in this campaign, will be going to one of my lovely Patreon supporters. So thank you so much. Happy printing, happy gaming. We'll see you next time.